Welcome to Pinnacle Performance Company's Fishbowl Friday with Pinnacle co-founder and COO G. Riley Mills and master instructor and editorial director Brad Lawrence. In an exclusive edition of Fishbowl Friday featuring G. Riley Mills' new book, Synergy and Sparks.
Pillar 4 is my favorite.
Probably mine too.
Storytelling.
For sure.
Yeah. So why is storytelling so essential? This is another concept that I feel like has come into its own, or it's coming more into vogue, about the value of storytelling in the workplace specifically. Why do you think that is? Let's start there. Why is storytelling becoming something that a lot of leaders are interested in, or something that a lot of organizations want their leaders to be good at?
Yeah. First off, you and I are on the same boat. We love storytelling. There's nothing better than
our careers are kind of
exactly
based
right.
on it,
Telling
right?
stories.
Yeah.
So storytelling is one of the only topics that in all three of the Pinnacle books, it's in every one. It has its own chapter. It's that important. And so storytelling, especially in 2025, it is the way we communicate our value. It's the way we connect with people. It's the way we tell the world who we are and what's important to us. You tell a story about yourself, I can learn probably more in that story about you than if we sat and just talked about the world.
Show, don't tell.
Show, don't tell. And so human beings are wired for stories, going all the way back to caveman times. And they're just essential for leaders. You have to be a good storyteller in 2025, 2026. Otherwise, you can't get your values out there. You can't get your vision across. You can't get people motivated. It's just really important. And in the new book, I lay out the classic storytelling structure that we use in our workshops, but I also bring in a couple new ones, a couple new fun ones that you can shake up your storytelling. Once you master the traditional dramatic structure, then you can try a couple other ones. And also, for the first time in the new book, I talk about anecdotes. If you don't have time for a story in your presentation or in your meeting or when you're having a beer with a client after work, an anecdote, which is different than a story, can be a really great tool. Just a simple illustration, a simple anecdote, but you have to know how to use them and when to use them. And I lay that out in the chapter in the new book under storytelling.
So if I'm somebody who's looking to become better at storytelling, but I don't know where to start.
Yeah.
And I see the Freytag structure and everything. It all seems so complicated. It's formulaic.
Yeah.
What's your best piece of advice for me? How do I get started being a storyteller?
Yeah, first off, you are already a storyteller. We spend most of our day, you come home from work and your partner, your spouse, your kid says, how was your day today? You now just told them a story about your day. You have an argument with somebody at work, or a meeting goes really badly, you had a tension with somebody at work, you come home, whoever's at home senses that you're upset, they say what happened, and you launch into the story. You are already a storyteller. So understanding these formulas and then just trying them out, just laying them out, trying them out and applying them to your life and your work, that's how you do it. You just practice and you get better the more you do it.
In some ways, it's similar to what we were talking about earlier, where you already have presence. You already do the actor adjustment thing based on who you're out with and who you're talking to. We're already storytellers. We're just asking you to be more conscious about it. Be more specific about what details you're including, what order they're in.
Yeah, we're just trying to help you make it better, more effective, more impactful, more compelling. That's it.
You do this already. Yeah. Here's tools to do it better.
Yeah. So for example, we can all probably think about somebody in our life who's not a good storyteller. Not a good storyteller, right? It could be a spouse, an in-law, a neighbor, a kid, where the minute they launch into a story, you go, oh gosh, this is going to go too long. It's going to be confusing. No. So that person, they're telling a story. We just want to help that person tell that story better. And by understanding these story structures, they'll know, oh, wow, that story was boring because I spent way too much time on the exposition and the background information before I got to the inciting incident moment where something happens that makes the story have some stakes. So just by making that adjustment of shrinking down their exposition and background information, now they're 10 times better storyteller than they were before the workshop.
Okay. So let's say I've been studying storytelling. I've read your book. It's amazing. I'm inspired. I'm a better storyteller. Now, how do I use it? How do I use it in the workplace to drive action, to drive connection, to do some of the things that you were talking about earlier? What do I actually do with this now that I'm good at it?
Yeah, in the book, I talk about how you've got to mine your experience and the experience of other people, mine those for stories, right? Because everybody has stories. If you have someone at your organization who's been there for 20 years and they're leaving, you better have captured some of their stories that you can continue to pass along. So number one, mine your experience, have those down. But in the book, I lay out the 5 different types of stories a leader should have in their back pocket, because you're going to need these at some point to influence someone else. And so I lay those out. I give the structure on them. I give examples of, here's an example of this type of story that you might have heard about, For example, a pie in the face story is one of the stories that every leader should have in their back pocket, which is, it's an instance of you making a mistake, screwing up, misjudging, miscalculating, but learning a lesson in the process. And as a leader, if you can share a pie in the face story, it shows humility. You don't take yourself too seriously. And it shows your team that you're humble enough to admit, I made a mistake and here's what I learned from it. And I hope you learn from it and don't make the same mistake. So that kind of thing is really important. And in the book, I talk about one of the biggest examples. There's a couple examples of pie in the face stories. One was the Netflix Blockbuster story, where Netflix, the CEO of Netflix, when he first started the company, came up with the idea, went to Blockbuster and said, hey, I'll sell you Netflix for $50 million. And he basically got laughed out of the room. And then
Sounds like a good deal.
Yeah, and then Netflix now is the juggernaut, and Blockbuster's a joke. So there's that one. And then there's another one I talk about in the book, another story, the Kodak story, about the first digital camera. The guy came in with this contraption at headquarters at Kodak in the 70s and said, hey, I've got this contraption. It's a camera that doesn't use film. Hey, senior leaders at Kodak, what do you think? And the senior leaders, of course, they make all their money off film.
Don't put us out of business.
They said, that's cute, go hide that and don't ever bring that up again. And what happened was they fell behind, they made that mistake, and the digital revolution in camera and film came in, and now Kodak's basically gone. So those pie in the face stories there's great lessons in all those stories.
Well, what's great about, because obviously we do see each other outside of Fishbowl Friday.
Yes.
What I admire about you is it always seems like you have a story at the ready. And one of the things I encourage the people in my workshops to do, if they're not doing it already, is build a bank.
Yeah.
Have a repository of stories ready to go. Because I feel in some ways it's like when people say, "Hey, tell me a joke."
Right.
You probably know a million,
right.
But when somebody puts you on the spot,
Yeah.
You can't come up with something.
Right.
So have a list of stories ready to go with
Yeah.
takeaways already planned
Yes.
out, so you can pull when
Yep.
you need them.
Yeah. That's what the chapter is. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what the chapter is. It's helping you mine your experience, get these 5 lined up, structure them properly, know when to tell them, and then ready to go.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there you go, everybody.
Love storytelling. The best.